Going through these statements again in this example, you have P representing an employee is required to be fingerprinted, and Q represents the statement an employee is required to take an oath of allegiance. And so if you see that P or Q, that's what this symbol means, or, that essentially means that an employee is required to be fingerprinted or take an oath of allegiance. So that's the statement that's being given in this proposition here. This is an and symbol in logic, and therefore this means that an employee is required to be fingerprinted and take an oath of allegiance, so both. This or statement up here can also mean that both may have to be done as well, but it really depends on the circumstances. The symbol for or but not both doesn't get used very frequently, so it's something you don't have to necessarily be overly concerned about in the long run. For C, you have the tildes in front of these, which indicate a negation. So P is not true and Q is not true, so you want to be able to negate these statements. So an employee is not required to be fingerprinted, an employee is not required to take an oath of allegiance. There's an or statement between them, and so combined together, an employee is not required to be fingerprinted or is not required to take an oath of allegiance. So basically this one's saying that one of these is not happening at the very least. It could be both as well, but one or the other is not going to happen here. Whereas this is saying that both is not going to happen. When you have a situation where both is not going to happen, this is also a neither nor situation. So a lot of people think that this one up here is neither nor because they think that having two negations separated by an or would be neither nor. It's actually neither nor is the exact opposite of either or, and an either or is basically statement A here because it also includes a possibility of both. But the exact opposite, neither nor, is this statement here. And you're going to learn about some laws in the next part of this lesson, well, actually in A4. And De Morgan's laws will help verify that later. So this would be an instance of neither nor, so you might see it stated as an employee is neither required to be fingerprinted nor is required to take an oath of allegiance. That means that neither one of those is going to happen. It's both are not going to happen. That's what neither nor means. And this last one down here, P doesn't have the tilde on it, Q does. There's an and statement between them. That means P, an employee is required to be fingerprinted, and an employee is not required to take an oath of allegiance. But you can also state that as an employee is required to be fingerprinted but is not required to take an oath of allegiance. Now these are requirements, so whether or not it'll happen, it's a different story, but we're talking about requirements here. And that is the end of this example.